Alright guys, we're back. We're doing the Rogues Gallery of Spider-Man. So we're just gonna go find a villain and make sure that we're gonna tell his stories. Let's get started.
Something's wrong. Spider-Man's spidey sense detects all as not what it seems here. Lurking in the shadows lay 12 of his insidious enemies. Use the arrow keys on your remote to find them. When you find a villain, select the Enter button on your remote to reveal who your enemies really are. Remember, with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
Alright, first we're gonna do the Green Goblin.
Green Goblin. Real name, Norman Osborn II. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 14, 1964. Height, 5'11". Weight, 185 pounds. Eye color, blue. Hair color, reddish-brown. Powers and abilities, superhuman strength, a heightened intellect, and an accelerated healing factor. Weapons. For travel, he uses a goblin glider. He attacks using grenades called pumpkin bombs. His gloves can emit up to 10,000 volts of electricity.
Alright, so we're gonna do who does Norman Osborn think is his only friend?
Oh yes, the goblin takes care of me. He makes life better for me. He's the only one. Nobody else loves me. They all hate me.
When he discovers his business partner was cheating on him, Norman Osborn had his partner arrested and took full control of the firm. Having full access to his former partner's research, he discovered an experimental formula that would grant a person superhuman strength and heightened intellect. When trying to recreate the formula, it exploded, granting Osborn great powers, but at the cost of his sanity. Thus, in one explosive moment, Spider-Man's greatest enemy, the ghoulish Green Goblin, was born. The Green Goblin is one of the few villains who knows Peter Parker is actually Spider-Man. Alright, second is Doc Ock.
Dr. Octopus. Real name, Dr. Otto Octavius. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 3, 1963. Height, 5'9". Weight, 245 pounds. Eye color, brown. Hair color, brown. Powers and abilities. Dr. Octopus can mentally control his mechanical arms, even over great distances. He is one of the world's foremost scientists in the study of radiation. Weapons. 4 mechanical arms fused to his body, used offensively to strike, and defensively to deflect blows and capture opponents.
Dr. Otto Octavius was a respected scientist and inventor, mainly in the study of nuclear physics, to assist him in experiments involving radiation. Octavius invented a mental harness that had 2 robotic arms on each side. During one such experiment, there was an explosion that fused the harness and the arms to his body and gave him complete telepathic control over the metallic limbs. Whoever hit this explosion also alerted the state of his mind, turning the well-behaved, timid researcher into the criminal, insane Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus was very nearly married Peter Parker's Aunt Mary. Alright, now it's Venom.
Venom. Real name, Eddie Brock. First appearance, Secret Wars number 8. Alien costume, 1984. Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 299. Eddie Brock, 1988. Height, 6'3". Weight, 260 pounds. Eye color, blue. Hair color, reddish blonde. Powers and abilities. All of Spider-Man's abilities, and he can disguise himself or change his clothes to look like anyone or anything. Weapons, none, but his costume can reproduce Spider-Man's amazing webs.
After discovering his black costume was actually a living being, Spider-Man drove it from his body and thought it dead. However, it joined with an out-of-work reporter named Eddie Brock, who blamed Spider-Man for his own poor reporting. Finding that Brock shared its own intense hatred of Spider-Man, the costume joined with Brock, creating the vile villain known as Venom. The alien costume actually nivelates Spider-Man's spider sense, thus making it possible to detect any danger from Venom. Now we're doing Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. Real name, Jason Macendale. First appearance, as Hobgoblin, Amazing Spider-Man, number 289. Powers and abilities, superhuman strength. Weapons. In addition to the same weapons as the Green Goblin, pumpkin bombs, the Goblin glider, and the electric shock gauntlets, he also uses razor bats that can cut through nearly anything.
So we're gonna do see the Hobgoblin in combat with Green Goblin.
I must have gotten hit hard. I'm seeing double. You rank amateur! Sorry, but there's no profit to be made in my own annihilation. You don't deserve to wear that mask.
Jason Macendale was actually a criminal for a hire called Jack-o'-lantern, as Jack Macendale had many battles with Spider-Man, losing them all. Even so, he was hired to be an enforcer for the Kingpin, for along with the original Green Hobgoblin. During this time, he had a falling out with the Hobgoblin and decided to kill him. Macendale paid the assistant, the foreign-gator, to kill Ned Leeds, who was thought to be the original Hobgoblin. After the situation, Macendale took up the G's of the Hobgoblin in order to shed his loser image of Jack-o'-lantern. The man Macendale had killed was not actually the original Hobgoblin, just a man brainwashed into thinking he was. Alright, we're doing the next area. So we're gonna start off with Kingpin.
Kingpin. Real name, Wilson Fisk. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 50, 1967. Height, 6'7". Weight, 450 pounds. Eye color, blue. Hair color, bald. Powers and abilities. Extraordinary hand-to-hand combatant. Extremely proficient in sumo wrestling. His rather large physique makes him stronger than most individuals. Weapons. Rather than guns or knives, the Kingpin hires individuals as his weapons, such as Hobgoblin or Jack-o'-lantern.
Alright, so we're gonna do how did the Kingpin become a powerful crime boss? That's his story.
It occurs to me I know very little about
about your past. What was your father like?
What is the best way to say it? I believe small-time hood sums it up. But my father wanted more out of life. He wanted to become a member of the mob. As for myself, I was lonely, ostracized because of my weight. My father had great dreams, but things never went my father's way.
Willie, what are you doing here? Come on, let's go!
Whatever my father touched, and positively putrid. Over the years, I tried to join my father in his business pursuits. I wanted to gain his acceptance. I failed.
Sometimes sacrifices must be made. Sorry, son, that's the way things are.
Young man, this court is willing to show leniency, but you must name your accomplice.
No, I was all alone. I realized I was going to have to learn to survive or be destroyed. And I did learn. By the time I got out, I had acquired all the skills needed to begin building my criminal empire. I even took a new name, Vista. But I quickly became known as the Kingpin. I used my mastery of technology to break into the law enforcement computer system and to eradicate all records of my previous criminal identity. Only one thing remained to link me to the past.
We found them for you, Kingpin.
It is you. Nobody believed me, but I knew the famous Kingpin was really my boy, Willie.
Wrong. As far as the world must know, Willie ceased to exist when you left him in prison. Now, it's your turn.
No, please. Willie, don't do this.
I knew you were ruthless, but this... The sacrifices must be made.
Now, who are the Kingpin's 6 forgotten warriors? That's when the full truth is there.
Once again, I must band together the Insidious 6. Dr. Octopus, Rhino, Shocker, the Scorpion. Spider-Man has driven them all underground. They have been forgotten by the world, but not by me. Like all good warriors, they need a brilliant general like myself to lead them once again to greatness.
But there are 4 of them, and the chameleon will make 5. Who will be your 6th forgotten warrior?
Meet Mysterio's replacement, the Vulture.
Kingpin, I've perused your labs, and I accept your terms. I think I'm gonna like it here.
Not much is known about Wilfith's background before he rose to power in the New York underworld. What is known is that in order to become a powerful man, he would have to do it both physically and mentally. Fist educated himself by stealing books, and he trained his body in many forms of hand-to-hand combat techniques, becoming expectantly proficient in sumo wrestling. He is also a very careful man, making sure that he gets his way without ever being connected to any crime. While the Kingpin doesn't know the true identity of Spider-Man, he does know Daredevil's secret identity. Now it's up to Carnage.
Carnage, real name, Cletus Cassidy. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 344, as Cletus Cassidy, 1991. Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, number 360, as Carnage, 1992. Height, 6'1". Weight 190 pounds. Eye color green. Hair color red. Powers and abilities. Carnage possesses all of the abilities of Spider-Man, and, perhaps due to his madness, is actually stronger and more agile than our wall crawler. Weapons. Carnage can change sections of his costume into weapons that detach from his costume.
Our medical maniac Cletus Cassidy was the cellmate of Eddie Brock, also known as Venom. When Brock's alien costume attempted to free him during the escape, the costume actually gave birth, spawning another symbiote that bonded with Cassidy. Cassidy also escaped and went on a murderous rampage until he was stopped by the combined might of Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and Venom. Cassidy has such complete control over his costume that one time he sent it through the phone line. Next is Chameleon.
Chameleon. Real name, Dmitry Smerdyakov. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 1, 1963. Powers and abilities. The chameleon drank a serum that makes his flesh malleable so it can assume the features of virtually any human being. Also a master of making lifelike masks and disguises. Weapons, a miniature holographic projector and a microprocessor on his belt buckle to capture a person's image and create a hologram of it around himself.
Okay, so we're doing See the Chameleon in Action in Russia.
Looks like I got what I came for. Hey, comrade.
The chameleon here?
Little is known about the industrial spy known as the Chameleon of European origin. He was a servant boy for the Kravinoff family. While growing up, he learned how to mimic voices and became a master of disguise. Following Sergei Kravinoff to America, he tried to gain Sergei's respect with his spying and therapy. He usually works in the employ of others, but sometimes he commits crimes for his own benefit. The Chameleon was the first Spider-Man villain ever faced way back in the beginning of The Amazing Spider-Man. Now it's time for the Scorpion.
Scorpion. Real name, MacDonald Mac Gargan. First appearance as Mac Gargan, Amazing Spider-Man number 19. As Scorpion, Amazing Spider-Man number 20. Powers and abilities. Superhuman strength, speed, agility, and stamina. Weapons. The Scorpion wears a battlesuit with a 7-foot-long tail that is cybernetically controlled. Not only is it useful to whip at his enemies, but it also can squirt acid at its tip.
Now witness the creation of the Scorpion.
Doc, what are you doing to me? Easy. It's the radiation.
Radiation? Ain't that stuff dangerous?
Gargan, this is what you said you wanted.
Stop!
Still, what's wrong with him? You'll be okay. I chose to use the Scorpion because it's a natural predator of the spider.
Spider-Man will at last meet his match.
See the Scorpion in action. Matt Gargan was hired by J. Jonah Jameson to find out how Peter Parker is able to snap those incredible pictures of Spider-Man. Soon after that, Jonah had another use for Gargan, to be the subject of an experiment to create a superhuman is destroy Spider-Man. The experiment gave Gargan superhuman strength and speed, but it caused Gargan to go slightly mad. These attributes, in addition to his deadly tail, gave birth to the villain known as the Scorpion. For a long time, the Scorpion believed he was trapped in his costume, unable to live a normal life. Let's go to the other area. The last area. Alright, Mysterio.
Mysterio. Real name, Quentin Beck. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man. Volume 1, number 13, 1964. Height, 5'11". Weight, 175 pounds. Eye color, blue. Hair color, black. Powers and abilities. Beck is a great special effects artist and hypnotist. He is also a skilled amateur chemist, creating toxins, hallucinogens, and the always present mist that surrounds him. Weapons. Beck's plexiglass helmet contains holographic projectors. Also, tubes running through his costume to his gloves enable him to emit gases and clouds of smoke.
Alright, let's see Mysterio in action.
What are these things? Some kind of robots? Not even you can stop my new automatons! Mysterio!
I should have guessed. After all, this robbery does play like a grade B horror movie.
But this time you're going to end up on the cutting room floor!
Oh, really? Unless these guys can fly, you're all mine, Mysterio.
No, they can't fly, but neither can he!
Jameson! Oh, no.
Ta-ta, Spider-Man!
Let's see that where did Mysterio gain his automation robot technology.
I acquired this deadly technology from Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Alistair Smythe was brilliant with robotics, but as he's no longer with me, his technology is mine to sell.
Very impressive, Mr. Fisk. It's exactly the technology I need.
The simulacra specifications are yours if you can meet my price, and not just money. You must use this technology to destroy Spider-Man.
Former movie stuntman Quentin Beck wanted to act, but met with little success, as a friend jokingly suggested he kill Spider-Man and take his place. Beck took the suggestion to heart by committing crimes as Spider-Man, thus discrediting him. After public opinion would turn on Spider-Man, Beck would arrive in a brand new identity to save the day. Spider-Man followed his plan by capturing him. From that day on, Spider-Man would always have a dangerous enemy in the form of Mysterio, Master of Illusion. Mysterio joined forces with Dr. Octopus, the Sandman, the Vulture, Kraven the Hunter, and Electro to create the villainous team known as the Sinister Six. Now it's time to get electric by Electro.
Electro. Real name, Maxwell Dillon. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 1, Number 8, 1964. Height, 5'11". Weight, 165 pounds. Eye color, blue. Hair color, red-brown. Powers and abilities. Electro can generate electricity and shoot it from his fingertips, as well as store it in his body. He also has the ability to manipulate electronic devices. Weapons? None. He is a weapon.
Let's see that Electro is in action.
Your abilities are pathetic, and mine are beyond comprehension.
Let's see how bored are Electro's powers.
Rejoice, for a new age is upon you, the age of Electro. No force can withstand me. No living thing can exist without my energy. I have willed the cessation of all ground vehicles in New York City as a small demonstration of what I can do. This is only the tiniest sample of my abilities. I don't really control power. I am power.
Dillon was working as a high-wire lineman when he was struck by lightning. Because he was in contact with power lines still connected to their spool, the field generated caused Dillon to become a living capillary, a being that is able to generate electrical energy. Seeing an easy way to make a rather hard life a lot more bearable, and to be able to gain respect, Dillon became Electro, master of electricity. Electro's powers can affect Spider-Man's ability to climb walls. Now is Morbius, the living vampire.
Morbius. Real name, Dr. Michael Morbius. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man, number 101. Powers and abilities. Morbius can create other pseudo-vampires by biting victims on the neck. He has razor-sharp fingernails and fangs, superhuman strength, an accelerated healing factor, and he can fly. Weapons, none. But he can use an antitoxin on his victims, so they won't change into a pseudo-vampire like himself.
Let's see the mutation that resulted in Morbius.
It was my blood sample that caused what happened to Michael.
What are you up to, Peter Parker? I will expose the last of this mutated plasma sample to the neogenic process.
No! Get out of there!
I put the vampire back to his genes. I have inherited. I hunger for plasma.
Dr. Michael Morbius was a prize-winning chess who learned he was dying of a rare blood disease that dissolved his blood cells. In seeking to treat himself, he used electric shocks and the blood of vampire bats. This didn't cure him, but instead caused a change in Morbius's body. mutating him into a living vampire. Morbius doesn't want to hurt anyone, but loses all control when his vampire thirst gets the better of him. When Morbius stood trial for his crimes, his attorney was none other than the sensational She-Hulk. Alright, we're doing the last villain, Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven the Hunter. Real name, Sergei Kravenov. First appearance, Amazing Spider-Man.